Hey guys, it's me. Yes, I know I look like crap. I just got done doing Pilates, but I had to get on here because I'm so freaking pissed. Um, First of all, let me just say that we need to do away with ASMR. I can't stand that bull crap. Okay, I know some people got into it as a big thing a few years ago, and people want to, tippity tap on whatever they're trying to sell you and whatever, and or the whisper like this. I can't take it. I can't stand it. It is so irritating. Someone it wants to show you like their little Too Faced lip gloss in the box, and they want to tap it like 25 times and then talk about it and then open it. You know what? You maybe not want to buy that lip gloss. I'm not going to buy it. There needs to be disclaimers on every single one that there's ASMR. It's so irritating. Anyway, the reason why that even got brought up in the subject is because I was watching a video earlier in which this woman whispers for about 2 minutes straight about how much she does not like being a mother. Now, I couldn't just click off of this because I was interested in the whole video, and it was a small part of a bigger video about women that dislike being mothers. But this woman was just like, I don't like being a mom. I don't like anything that goes along with it. I don't like the cooking and the cleaning. It's like, stop it. Stop it. Just talk like a normal person. Okay? And as far as all these women that don't like being a mommy, here's the thing. I don't know why women get surprised when times get tough when they're a mom, okay? Because there was one woman that said motherhood was actually a scam. Excuse me, ma'am, a scam? You really think motherhood is a scam? A scam is when somebody sets up a fake charity and takes your coins, okay? Motherhood is not a scam. It's not. It might not be what you thought it was going to be, but it's not a scam. I mean, what do these people think is going to happen? Like, you said it's a scam. Did someone bamboozle you into having a baby? Did they say, oh, it's just going to be just like when you were little and you're holding your little baby doll in your arms and it's just looking at you and everything is just perfect and rainbows and roses and that's how it's going to be? Did someone tell you this and you believed it? I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand at all. When I was growing up, I was an only child and was not ever around little babies and kids. So as far as knowing what to expect with motherhood, I did not know what to expect. My mother put the fear of God into me about having kids and that I should never have kids and all this other stuff. So let me tell you, if you are like, on the fence, you're walking the tightrope, you're not sure, don't have kids. I waited until I had a very strong urge to have kids. And when you have that little baby inside of you and the baby comes out, that's an actual person coming out of you. That is a person, a human being that's going to have their own personality and their own way of acting, and that's what it is. You do not know what you're going to get. You have absolutely no idea. I mean, I've had 2 kids and they're brought the same, totally different personalities. Why? I don't know. I have no clue. But they do. And this is also why people say that there are stages, right, to kids getting older. There's good and bad with all stages. Now, when they're a little bitty newborn, it's like, oh, they're so cute, and they depend on you, love to hold them and spend time with them and all this other stuff. But then the bad part is, if you got a fussy baby, you got a high maintenance child. I had one that was not high maintenance and was very easy newborn. And then I had another one that was, he gave me some troubles. I mean, Me and my husband had to take shifts. I don't think either one of us slept more than 4 hours for 7 or 8 months because our baby was a fussy baby. Was it miserable? It wasn't easy. I was tired all the time. You know, it was difficult. But you also had those wonderful, loving, cuddly moments with the newborn. And it goes like that all throughout the child's development, right? I mean, you get into the toddler stage, you know, they're a couple of years old, 2, 3 years old. They're starting to get a personality on them, which is so funny. I mean, some of the stuff that my little boy said back then was hilarious. But he also, at that age, could not regulate his emotions. So I literally have videos on my phone where he would be mad that I wouldn't let him have something, and he would be smacking me as hard as he could on the legs, on the arms, you know, and that was difficult. It was difficult when he would have a meltdown and throw a fit. But I had to be mindful that his brain was not developed enough to regulate his own emotions. He didn't understand what he was doing was wrong. So that's when you start with the little timeout, you know, and you can't do that. You can't hit. Put them in a little timeout. They don't like it, you know, and then you move on with your day. But they also have that personality. So then that's the good part of it. I mean, there was times when he wouldn't even understand what he said was funny, but he would just crack me up. Right now, he's 5. So it's good because there's a little bit of independence there. So I don't have to constantly be all over him. He can be a little bit independent, you know, and play in the other room on his own. And it's okay. I can get some housework done. I can do some things around the house, what needs to be done, whatever. But he's also still got that in him where he'll say certain things that will hurt my feelings. He'll be like, I don't love you, or I want a new mommy, or whatever, just because I'm not letting him do or have whatever he wants at that time. And I'll communicate with him and say, hey, that's not nice, and you really hurt my feelings, you know? And he's at the age now where he's starting to understand what that feels like, what it feels like when someone says something that hurts your feelings. And more often than not, he'll give me a hug and say, I'm sorry, mommy. I'm sorry, mommy, don't be mad, you know? And then it's all okay. But we're still trying to get through that stage of him understanding to not say hurtful things. And that's just where we're at right now. And there's days when he might act up and have a terrible attitude all day long, and it's a frustrating day, and my husband will say, I'm so sorry that you had to go through that. And my whole opinion on it is, okay, this was one singular day. He acted like a brat all day. The only thing I can do is get through the evening, put him to bed, wake up the next morning, and that day is going to be different than the day before. That's just how it is as a parent, as a mother, as a father. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get good days and bad days. It's like you look at the stock market, and it goes like this and goes like this, and that's how it is. This whole thing about women saying just a blanket statement of, I hate motherhood, but I love my kids, that's very deceptive. That's not even getting into the nooks and crannies of, you know, what motherhood really is. You can't just make a blanket statement that motherhood sucks and that you were bamboozled into having a child. No, that is not true. That's not the truth. The truth is you have to be ready for it. The truth is you have to really contemplate what that means to be a mom. Like I said, I went into it, I didn't have any siblings, so I just had no clue to even how to hold a baby. You know, I was learning on the fly. So, but I knew I wanted a baby. I was ready for the responsibility. I had a full-time job. I made good money. I had my own place. I was independent. So I felt like this was what I wanted. And I was ready for it. So, but you got to be really ready. You have to be really ready for anything that could possibly come your way. I mean, you really do. Like I said, they're all going to come out differently. They're all going to have their own personalities, their own opinions, their own way of reacting to certain situations. And you just got to go with the flow. You got to do whatever you think is best to handle a situation at the time. You know, and then to make that statement that I hate motherhood, I don't like being a mother, there are so many women that would crawl on their hands and knees to get a baby. They can't have babies. They want one so bad, and it's not happening for them. And for you to talk like that, that just trivializes their feelings so much. And that's really disappointing. It is. It's really disappointing. And I feel horrible for women that want it so bad and just can't have it. And then you have these women that are saying, I hate motherhood. Come on. You know, it's just, you can't look at it that way. And then some of them not only had one child, but you have multiple children. Okay, you didn't figure out you didn't like motherhood the first go around? You had to have 2 or 3 before you realize, okay, I don't like it anymore. No. And there was one woman, and she did have a point, and it's irritating, that the work, school, the way that that's set up is really messed up. It's, you know, I'm very lucky that about 3 years ago I was able to quit my job. But before then I had worked 27 years at one job. So yes, I had a job and kids, and you know, had to figure out the whole thing, and it's not easy because yes, a lot of jobs, my job started at 6 a.m. I worked 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the time. So those are way outside of school hours. So I had to, you know, find babysitters. I had to find people that I could depend on and count on to watch, particularly my daughter, because it was mainly with my daughter that I had to have babysitters. People that could watch her those hours. I mean, that's just what I had to do. And no, it's not fair. It's really not fair. But when the school system was even set up, it wasn't like how it is today. Women did not work back then. Men worked and brought home the money, and the women stayed at home with the kids. I mean, that's how it was way back then. The schools were set up back then to be that way. It's not working mother friendly now, and I don't know why that hasn't been changed or addressed or anything like that. But yeah, it's very complicated. It's hard. It's really hard. You have to find those people that are willing. I had to find someone who was willing to let me drop my daughter off at 5:30 in the morning and pick her up at 6:30 at night. And that's a big ask. Okay, not everybody wants to wake up that early, and most people don't want to be watching kids out late. Most of the time they got their own kids. They're wanting to cook dinner. They're wanting to get on with their night. So, you know, it takes some work to find somebody that's willing to do that, particularly if you don't have a partner that's there for you or has flexible hours. You don't have flexible hours. It's difficult. It's hard. I think there should be something done about the school system and how they do that whole thing. I don't know what they can do, but something needs to be done, especially when the kids are on vacation, when the kids have snow days, when they're sick. There's no leeway with moms in the workplace. Like, you know, there was times when the school called. There was one time the school called and said, we need you to come pick up your daughter. She has pink eye. You know, I didn't work in the type of environment. It was very much clock in, you're not leaving until it's time for you to clock out environment. And if you did leave, then there was a point system, and there were repercussions to this point system. And it was a difficult point system to follow. It was very rigid. So, but it is expected of the mothers to do this. You know, I mean, you don't ever hear about the dads, you know, having to leave work and go pick up their kids because everybody expects the mom to do it. And that's the thing, is that it is hard on women. Most women have to work, whether they have a partner or don't have a partner. Most households have to be a 2-parent working household. But yet it's still expected and put on the woman to get up, go to work, come home, pick up the house, make the dinner, do the laundry. I've been there, done that, done the whole thing. You're exhausted. Why it's like that? There again, I think it's because this wasn't the way that it was decades upon decades ago. This nowadays, because of feminism and women wanting to work, which is great. You know, if you want to work. You should be able to do that. There should be equal rights between men and women. Absolutely. But the mentality is still from way back then. And we have to deal with it. So if you don't think that having a child would work into your lifestyle, if you are a hard worker and you're putting in 80 hours a week and you don't have a rock solid partner, that's another thing. You have to make sure, you have to be so very careful with who you have kids with. I mean, you have to really put some thought into it. Is this someone that I'm going to want to be around for the next 18 years or have to co-parent with, or are they going to be easy to, you know, have a partnership and a child with? If you don't think that person is reliable, forget about it. Don't do it. Make sure that you and your partner are rock solid. You know that you're going to be together. I mean, you can't know for sure, but you know that you can depend on that man. He's a good man. He's going to help with the child. My husband helps me with my child when he gets home from work. You know, he works all day long. He works really hard. And then he comes home and he works a little bit from home, but he still takes the time to play with our son and spend time with our son and spend time with me, you know, eating dinner and just doing our nightly thing, watching TV or whatever. I know I can depend on him no matter what. No matter, we wouldn't get divorced, but if we did, I know I could count on him. Ladies, be so mindful and careful of who you have a child with, because if you don't, it's going to be a long road for you. A long, difficult, bumpy road. So, you see red flags, go the other way. I know a lot of women on here are going to say, well, he was a good guy when we met, but then, you know, think he changed or whatever. I understand that. I definitely understand that. But just know, be knowledgeable, know and understand that when it comes to motherhood, when it comes to the children, when it comes to the household, probably 90% of it, at least, falls on the woman's shoulders. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm just saying that's how it is. And just because your child is going through a hard stage, just because life isn't easy right now for you, do not blame your child. Do not be out there telling people that motherhood is a scam, that you hate being a mom, that you're bamboozled into doing this, you wish you would have never done it. I mean, you do realize that when your kids get older, they're probably gonna see these videos, and that's hurtful at the very least. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to hear my mom say that she regretted me and she loved me, but she hated being my mom. I mean, I think she kind of did hate being my mom, but regardless, your kids are probably going to see these videos at some point in time, so keep that in mind too. But that's all I would say. I mean, I know I got on here as kind of rageful and a rant, and people are allowed to feel however they want to feel. Absolutely. If overall you don't like being a mom, I'm sorry. But to make that blanket statement that motherhood is a scam, you hate motherhood but you love your kids, let's be real. There's good times and there's bad times. It's not all gonna be good, it's not all gonna be bad. You might have a whole ass bad day with your kid, but then you might go to bed, wake up the next morning, and they're a sweet little angel. It happens all the time. So just don't make motherhood sound like trash. It's not. You deal with the good times, you deal with the bad times. You do the best you can as a parent. If you're having troubles with your child, they're acting up, they're not doing what they should be doing, you as a parent handle that the best way that you can. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not. You know, there's times I get frustrated. There's times I get upset. You know, there's times when I might be so upset I just go in the other room for a couple of minutes. I need to get my sanity back. But that doesn't mean that I don't like motherhood. My son comes home every day from preschool and he says, "Hey, I made you something." And his teachers always say, he always wants to make you a coloring or a drawing because he feels like it makes you happy. So he's thinking of me, you know, and he wants to make me happy and I want to make him happy, you know. So every day is just a different day. So my whole take on motherhood is it's good and bad. If you're not willing to deal with some of the tantrums, some of the, you know, getting into the teenage years, that can be difficult as well. If you're not willing to sacrifice, if you're not 100% that you want to be a parent, do not do it. Wait. That feeling may never come. And if it never comes for you, and you never have that biological urge that you really want a child and you just never do it, that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't want to have kids, don't have them. But to put out there that motherhood is a scam and that you know you're tricked into it or whatever and you're miserable, you're putting the fear of God into women that want children, that have that desire to have children. You're putting that doubt in their mind. I'm just trying to shoot it straight. It's not all good, it's not all bad. Be prepared. You don't know what little personality that child's gonna have. And so you're just gonna have to roll with it, deal with it, do the best you can as a mom. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to need a little bit of self-care time, some, you know, a couple minutes to yourself or whatever. That's absolutely okay. That's absolutely fine. But let's not forget that these little beings that we've made, these little human beings, they also bring a shit ton of joy. So keep that in mind. You need that time out, take it. If you don't, hug them, love them, cherish the moments of every stage with them. And do you. Do what you want to do. Do what you feel is best for you. Don't let anybody pressure you, but don't let anybody deter you either. Have a great day.